they missed the biggest front runner that they had, right? So the biggest front runner originally for California governor was Eric Swalwell, and he was actually involved in like some allegations pertaining towards sexual assault, and that's what led him to step down from running for governor, right? So um, now we have the front runners, according to what I heard, are is Katie Porter, and she's a Democrat. Tom Steyer, Democrat. Javier Becerra, Democrat. Matt Mahan, Democrat. Steve Hilton, Republican. Chad Bianco, Republican. Right, out of these six, it's supposed to be Katie Porter who's the front runner. So you saw the video of her interactions, and you can um, generate your own viewpoints and thoughts based off of what you saw as pertaining towards her character. But I'm a little anxious and worried about her personally. Um, I was going to talk about some previous governors. I'm going to save that for the millennial moment afterwards, though, because I wanted to talk about the candidates themselves, right? Like after listening to the questions that were asked, these were the questions that were asked by the moderators, right? So uh, they asked questions about the gas tax, 61 cents per gallon, right? They asked about California insurance crisis. They asked about the electric vehicles. Should they pay taxes as well for infrastructure? Uh, they asked campaign strategies towards like certain particular candidates. One of the ones was safe voting. They asked Chad Bianco, and he offered the one party rule idea. And Matt Mahan had the question of AI concerns, and he claims that he would tackle the tech companies. So Javier Becerra, they asked him a question pertaining rumors, uh, and this was in regards to Eric Swalwell. And so when they asked Javier Becerra questions about rumors, do you believe that rumors, and what are your thoughts on rumors, and yada yada yada, and he claims that the rumors aren't facts, right? So in a way, he was kind of defending or deflecting at least for Eric Swalwell, but some other ones were they asked about candidates endorsed the front runners. Most of them said yes, all of them except for one. They asked about lower housing costs, questions for AI, right? They asked questions about social media. Should social media be banned for kids 16 and under? Um, was a big question and concern that I'm wondering about, right? So the other one that they asked that I thought was most funny was Gavin Newsom and his performance on homelessness, and all the Democrats gave him a B. So the Democrats think that Gavin Newsom has done a all right job, right? And the Republicans were more on the side of he's dropped the ball completely and has done a terrible job for California. And living in California as long as I have, I'd have to agree. Watching the changes in California over the last, I don't know, I've been paying attention to it the last 30 years, right? Since I was about 16 years old. And so I haven't seen great changes. And in many ways, it seems like things are just getting worse, you know? Um, I did take some other notes too. It seemed like, so these are what I thought of the overall candidates themselves, right? I looked at them and I was like, all right, this is my general opinion. And this is just my own personal opinion, right? It's unbiased. Steve Hilton, I feel like he's a lot of talk, but I don't know about his actions, right? I don't know how much stuff he's actually done. And to be honest, when I hear him talk with that English accent, I kind of feel like, ugh, is this England who's telling me what to do, or is this an American telling me what to do, right? And that's a small problem for me. Tom Steyer, right? He sounds like Gavin Newsom. He looks like Joe Biden. Uh, and he talked a lot about being a billionaire and how he's a billionaire, but he's not like the rest of the billionaires. But I tell you what, he was wearing some Nike Air Maxes up there, and I give him credit for that. He's wearing a suit with some Nike Air Maxes. Everybody else is dressed to the occasion, right? Uh, Katie Porter seems like she'll destroy anybody who disagrees with her. And if she's the strongest front runner, I understand why, because she will destroy anybody who stands against her. And if she doesn't like what you have to say, she'll just leave. And that's where we are in society. Uh, Moving on, we got Matt Mahan, right? He Personally, listening to him speak seemed like he had very low to no passion and excitement. And I swear I felt like I was just listening to a robot, right? Someone who was there, he was reciting the lines. He kind of had eyes like I got right now, so he's probably stoned a little bit as he was doing as I'm trying to do right now. Bumble his way through a little podcast on streaming, right? Anyways, it seemed like a drone, and Javier Becerra, right? So he's an attorney general. And in my opinion, personally, if you've been a part of California politics for the last 5 to 10 years, you're part of the problem. And so there's nothing he can say to me that's going to make me believe what he says because he's had the opportunity to do so much already and he hasn't done much at all, even though he was attorney general. And Chad Bianco scares me. He seems like a smart guy, though, but he's a cop. And so that scares me a little bit. But ultimately, I think out of hearing all of them, Chad, excuse me, Chad Bianco is probably the way I would go. He seems like he's down to earth. He had no problem calling out the problems that real Californians like me are actually facing, right? And so I give him credit for that, It takes a lot of guts to get up there and call out the establishment, especially considering that California's been a one-party rule for at least the last 20